Shalom, I am Rabbi Shaul Praver. You're watching Rabbi Rock. One of the great statements from the Talmud is, when goodwill exists between brethren, they could live on a thin corner of a sword. But when ill will exists amongst them, even the expanse of the earth is not enough to contain them. A great statement about human nature. When you want to make things work with your friend, you'll be able to make it work. If you want to find fault with your neighbor, with your friend, you'll find that as well. It all depends on the mindset. I want to talk about Zionism as beautiful. So many times we hear the word Zionism, Jew, Israel, in almost a racial slur. It becomes a pejorative sound. Zionism, Jew, Israel. So many negative things said about these three words. Yet, Zionism, to many of us, represents a scorched desert land turned into a beautiful flowering garden, a beautiful paradise. Zionism means oppressed Jews lifting themselves up, realizing an exalted destiny in their ancient homeland. Zionism means the collective creativity of Jews from all over the world and every ethnicity contributing to a modern, free civilization. Zionism is the opportunity to enact this great dream that will never die. Zionism means a messianic spirit that attempts to make the world a little better. And Zionism, lastly, means sharing the blessings of Israel with the world. Now, Zionism is not racism. Jews come in every race and ethnicity. Zionism is not an apartheid state. Jews are the majority in Israel, and Arabs, the minority, vote in the Knesset and are represented. Zionism is not colonialism. Jews won the War of Independence against the British. Furthermore, the state of Israel is no more racist than the state of Saudi Arabia. Each hosts a particular group of people. Saudi Arabia hosts Arabs. Israel hosts Jews. Like many other countries, is it a surprise that there is a majority of Germans in Germany? Is that racist? Is it a surprise that most people in Poland are Polish? No, it isn't. It only seems to be an issue when it comes to Israel and the Jews. Now, Jews are willing to share the land with the Palestinians. They've shown that many, many times. They currently show that willingness to share the land with their brothers, their cousins, the Palestinian people. I want you to ask yourself a question now, friends. If Israel retired its army, its navy, all of its fighting forces, the IDF, how long do you think it would take for the state of Israel to be conquered by Muslims? 1 hour? 1 week? A month? How long would it take? Now, please ask yourself the question in reverse. If all of Israel's neighbors, let's say Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, Jordan, retired their army and their air force and their navy in the same fashion, do you really think that Israel would try to conquer these countries? Honest reflection on these questions, I believe, will lead you to the conclusion that only one party seeks the destruction of the other. The rest is commentary and spin. Israel has suffered many horrible and grotesque terrorist attacks in restaurants, hotels, city buses, trains, beaches, streets, universities, school buses, highways, banks, grocery stores, private homes, kibbutzim, caves, fields, you name it. Israel has suffered it. If, God forbid, these same kinds of attacks occurred here in the United States, our military would act with decisive alacrity and get the job done. Losing a war against terror of this sort is not an option. It means losing not only your country, but your very civilization. For half a century, Palestinians have professed an interest in having a state of their own. And indeed, many attempts have been made to give the Palestinians their wish, starting with the 1948 UN partition plan, concluding with the offer made at Taba by former Israeli Prime Minister Barak, which included 98% of the requested land, including East Jerusalem as the capital of the Palestinian state. This was answered with war. For many, it would seem that Barak called Arafat's bluff and showed that the peace process was really a process of war. Due to these harsh realities, the Sharon administration has pursued building a defensive shield, a security fence, between the two countries. Jews have also disengaged completely from what we call Gaza. Yet, 1 million Muslims, 1 million Arabs live in Israel, and they enjoy democratic freedoms and rights. And the question is this fair? Why can't Jews live under the Palestinian flag just like Palestinians live under the Israeli flag? Sharon, the Prime Minister Sharon, says that it's not practical any longer for Jews to live in Gaza because we can't protect them, such a small number of people with an army, and it really is a poor use of our resources. And I ask you to stop, wait, and think. Is there a need for a Palestinian state, a Palestinian army rather, to protect Palestinians living in Israel? No, there is not. The Arabs living in Israel are protected in a free democratic society by the society itself. The only reason why an army was necessary to occupy, to be present in Gaza, was to protect the Jews from being slaughtered. And this is a point which gets lost, unfortunately, in the news. Israelis simply want peace. They would much, much prefer spending their time finding a cure for AIDS, finding a cure for cancer, writing world-class music, tending to their gardens, a host of other things Israelis rather be doing than fighting with Arabs. A few of the things which you may not realize are color printing. The cell phone was developed in Israel. Diagnostic medical testing equipment on the leading edge is coming out of Israel. And there's so much brain power, so much creative, positive energy coming from Jews from all over the world that are in this very small little place called Israel. And so many blessings coming out of little tiny Israel. Yet, even at a time when Israel is giving up territory for the sake of peace, I don't hear anybody willing to say one decent word about the place, about the people, about Zionism, about Jews, and about Israel. So, I'm going to say them. Zionism is beautiful. Thanks for listening. Shalom.